Follow up. I had just a question I put out there for listeners that they would kind of send in. Most of it, honestly, was a whole bunch of angry dispensationalists, so I kind of skipped over a lot of those. Most of them weren't even questions. They were just kind of commenting at how incorrect a preteristic perspective was. But there was a questions I said I would make sure I got over to you. So Jared on X, he said, do you believe the fulfillment of the 70 weeks prophecy is the ultimate Jubilee upon Christ's return?
Yeah, I think that the 70 weeks of prophecy points to Christ's first advent, not his second advent. There are 7 weeks from the time of the declaration given by, um, there's a decree given by Artaxerxes, I believe, that pretty much aligns with the 483 years that comes up to AD 27. I have that in my book as well if you want to read up on that. And so you see very clearly in the Gospels where Jesus does announce, he actually refers to a year of Jubilee, and he quotes from the book of Isaiah, and he talks about the captives being set free and so on. So yes, I think one way you can look at it is in Daniel 9 there's 77s, but another way you can break it up is 10 groups of 49 years. And the 49th year followed by the 50th year is a Jubilee year in Scripture. So there's another interesting thing I note in my book is that when the Jews started to violate the Jubilee year in the time of Solomon, that's the last Jubilee year that's mentioned in Scripture is actually in the time of Ezekiel. So if you add up all these Jubilees together from the time of Solomon all the way up to Ezekiel, you come up with roughly about 490 years. So the Jews were in captivity for 70 years, and it was 1 year for each year that they violated. There was a Sabbath law, and there was also the Jubilee year law. So they violated those. And so if you wanted to work on it, that's one possible solution, because God says he always keeps his promises. And he does promise in Scripture that they violated the Jubilee, and they'd be punished by being in captivity, which certainly happened. So what I say is that Solomon, during Solomon's reign, this was the first time when there was infant sacrifice started to take place, and then Solomon's kingdom broke in two upon his death. Then the northern kingdom certainly violated the Sabbath year and the Jubilee year every single year because they couldn't keep it, because they were in another kingdom away from Jerusalem. And then the southern kingdom often violated the Sabbath year and the Jubilee year as well. So that's what led to the 70 years of captivity. It was the punishment for violating God's law. And it wasn't just breaking the Sabbath and the Sabbath year and the Jubilee year. It was every one of the 10 Commandments, too, that they were breaking, including infant sacrifice, which is a pretty bad one.